Welcome to Tennessee Pinball. We're about done through with this $6 million man. Got a couple things left. Got to put some new drop targets, and I was just looking at all the bulbs, make sure all the bulbs working. I've got this segment out. I think I had a video on that one. That one's not repairable. I may swap that out if the customer wants a new one. But I got this one controlled light, kind of exhibiting. Instead, I'm in the bulb test right now. So all the controlled lights should be on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. This one is going to the on, super bright, on, super bright, on, super bright. So what's happening is when it's the super bright is really when the bulb should be off, and it's basically staying on all the time. But what's happening is every single bulb in the game is on at the same time. And what that's doing is the 6 volts DC that's controlled, it's dipping down a little bit because every bulb is on the same time. Normally that's not going to happen during gameplay. It only does it during the test. So essentially this bulb is staying on all the time, and you see the difference in the brightness to the voltage there. So that SCR is almost certainly bad. So I'm going to show you how to track that down. We'll look it up in the schematics and figure out which SCR that is. So here's the schematics for $6 Million Man. I've gone ahead and marked here. So that's the match, and that's the offending one. And this one actually goes 2 different places. The other one goes up here to not use, but if you follow that over, it's Q23. Now it could be upstream of that. It could be this U2, but it's probably not. It's probably that Q23, which is one of the SCRs on the lamp board. So I'm going to pull the lamp board, do a diode test, and that should probably tell us that Q23 is bad, but we will see. So I've got the lamp board on the bench here. There's that Q23. I got the multimeter, did a diode test on there, and it looked perfectly good, which is to say the readings were exactly like all the SCRs around it. I'm going to go ahead and swap it anyway, because sometimes those diode tests they're not 100% accurate, and particularly because these are SCRs. And my understanding of the way the SCRs differ from transistors, whereas a transistor is kind of like a momentary switch. So as long as the controlled signal is like as you're pressing the button, it will be in an alternate state, and as soon as you let off the signal, it goes to the other state. So it's on, off with the signal that's controlling it. The SCR is a little bit different. It's like a toggle switch where you press it a moment, or not a momentary, but a whatever you call it kind of switch where you press it and it stays. Anyway, a button switch. So when you press the button, it stays in that position, the alternate state, until you press it again. So it could be that it just locked in that position, even though it seems to be measuring good. So I'm gonna swap it out, and we'll see if that fixes it or not. If not, then we'll look at this chip up here, which is sends the signal to operate this. I did do a diode test on this one because there's pin 20 runs to this one here, and that's even less reliable measure, but it looked just like all the other ones, the other pins that control these other SCRs, using a diode test. So I'm hoping that this 23 knocks it out, and we'll see. Well, I replaced that SCR, and that sure enough fixed it. So good example of where the diode tested, they're not 100%. I mean, they catch most of the problems, but not all of them. So if it's not working and nothing else makes sense, go ahead and swap it, especially if you got the board out and it's a cheap little SCR. Go ahead and swap it. Cheers. Like and subscribe if you dig the video. Adios.